That should fix it. I was stupid enough to just keep my mic muted in OBS, because why not? Should be able to hear me now, right? Just waiting for the chat to catch up to it. Okay. So, PT-17-4. 1.7, 65 kilometers an hour, which is average. What is the price of it? 1,000 golden eagles is a bit... Okay. I mean, that's what you expect for a rank 2, I suppose, but... Why not just buy the destroyer? Modifications. Nothing too exceptional. Torpedoes are pretty meh as well, rather slow. I mean, all of the armament is standard for Americans. Why it was added, it's a bit weird. I mean, yeah, they didn't really need another premium PT. It should be a very interesting boat, that's for sure. That camouflage is definitely the biggest plus point to it, though. We don't really have any vessel camouflage, or not too much of it. Yeah, should be a pretty alright premium. I do expect that BR to go up. I really do expect that BR to go up, because 1.7 for a 40 mm on the front is a bit low. But more interestingly for the Americans, we have this new destroyer at 4.3. In other words, it has absolutely zero lineups around it. Okay. Does it have... oh, that's two of these rocket launchers. Okay. So two 5-inch 54s, two dual 3-inchers, and two of these weapons alphas, which are really funny, really useless. Yeah, I've heard it as well that the Mitchell doesn't have the correct rate of fire at the moment. Was it like 4-second reload? In the X-ray it says 40, which is a rather high rate of fire for a 5-inch guns, but I can't test it, but I'll do that in a bit after I've looked at everything. Oh boy, that's a lot of munitions to be to blow up. Torpedoes? Are they in solid tubes? Oh, they are, aren't they? Yikes. Compass an hour 13. Does this thing have a torpedo mode? It doesn't work. Do you need to... Does it get any more rockets? Wait, do you have to unlock the weapons alpha? Why? Why do you have to... I'm confused. Well, I'll have to check that later. Don't come with VT stock, but I mean it's just a rank 2 and it's 520 RP, you'll get it in 2 games. What else? This should be a rather interesting destroyer, a bit more modern. Though with the guns being borked at the moment, actually let me test that. The guns are a bit borked at the moment and have a longer reload than they should.
Gunners are searching for airborne and surface targets. Gunners are searching for airborne targets.
Loud, isn't it? Let me turn it down. Why is it 100? The 20 mil at least are a good backup for NTR, although yeah, getting that 76mm HEVT is going to be rather important.
Aircraft down. Threat in the air.
Reloading these things again. Let's take a look. Yeah, it should be faster than 4 seconds, isn't it? Yeah, it's a large destroyer. That's yeah. I forgot to really look at it, but it's definitely not a small ship. This. I find it. Oh, but that's right. So you don't have torpedoes anyway. Did they change it again? I need to look at the patch notes. Really, have been fixed. Okay, what did you mean with that? I'm looking at the patch notes at the moment. Yeah, I'm reading it at the moment. Apparently. Apparently, they say that will have more time to extinguish the fires, and that after 30 to 45 seconds, the fires will put themselves out. But there is a probability at the end of the burning period that will get detonated anyway. Internal fire, spread of fire to the adjacent room has been fixed. Aha. So if a module internally of the ship is separated from a burning module by armor or any other kind of structure, it will not spread to that module. And the fires will burn themselves out over time, but I mean, they used to do that before. So I'm not quite sure what they mean with that. Effect of fire on torpedoes and other explosive ordnance. Chance of detonation when affected by fire has been corrected. Every second of the inflicted damage, the chance of detonation now equals 1 to 3%. So every single second your explosive armament is on fire, it has a 1 to 3%, exploding. So there is a very good chance that as soon as it gets on fire, it'll detonate. But I mean, that's also already a thing now. HE will now detonate on the surface of the water. Boy, there's quite a lot of changes apparently. I'll have to read through them in a little bit as well. But, Mitcher. An interesting destroyer, 4.3 definitely seems the right place for it, but I don't know how survivable it is. Should actually look at it in the hangar. The guns, I can't judge the guns yet because I don't really know what 40 RPM really equals to. But simply put, the 4-second reload is a 15 RPM, so you have to double it and then some. So it's going to be a high rate of fire for 5-inch guns, but only 2 of them, and I suppose those turrets don't have any armor, so they should be pretty easy to be knocked out, but not. Yeah, 1.5 second reload. That's going to be a lot. I'm thinking if there's any ship in game that has a 1.5 second reload already that I have access to. Yeah, no STS at the moment. It's still a dev server, don't forget that. So I think it definitely belongs at 4.3, given that it has little armor, it's a large target, only has 2 guns, even though they are rapid firing guns. What shells do they have? Standard loadout for American 5-inch. Oh, high explosive, semi-armor piercing, and a VT shell. These weapon alphas are really, you can just forget about them because they have a maximum range of 600 meters. Though they are funny if you can get so close to an enemy, but really... Oh, they are new shells. Yeah, but still a standard type of shells. Yeah, not too bad for explosive mass retrieve. But again, only 2 guns. That's a lot of pen on the SAP, but I'm not too familiar with the American 5-inch, to be honest. I don't really know. Yeah, an interesting ship. Let's look at what else there is for naval at the moment. Where is it? The Russians have something else. In the coastal fleet. Yeah, it definitely isn't a bad pen for SAP. But it's... At what range was it SAP? I'll look again. Yeah, it's 1,000 meters. Like, destroyer engagements, in my opinion, or in my experience, usually go around 7,500 meters, 5,000 meters. So you need to look at those values more. It's still definitely not a bad penetration value for these ranges. But yeah, it's just 810 meters velocity. It's higher velocity than the American guns we're used to, but it should be an interesting ship. Nothing too overpowered, I think, yet. Though I'll have to see when the reload gets fixed. And it being a rank 2 4.3, it's dirt cheap to research. It's going to be cheap to spade. And, you know, a fine addition. Though it's just a bit sad that it doesn't have any lineup to go with it. Although I guess you could just use the rank 1s with it. But still. So, the Russians, where was I? Coastal fleet. Yeah, yeah, they get 3 of those guns on a later version of the destroyer, but yeah. Here, the MPK PR201M, another a fast attack craft, isn't it? Actually, yeah, decently speedy. Is it a, what is it classed as? Is it a sub chaser? So it does spawn with the PT boats. 3.7 is a rough BR for it, but a lot of the Russian fast attack craft are at that BR. No armor whatsoever except for 10mm on the turrets. Massive engines, easy to do. This ammo storage, I see that it's a big weak spot if you know to aim for it. Nothing seems a bit empty, but oh well. Radio station, bridge. These rockets, I need to look into them. Expensive boat as well, but that's to be expected of a rank 4. What is your rocket? 32 kilograms of explosive mass. But what's the range of them? I can't test it because I don't have it. Like the dangerous... A lot of the Russian boats have very dangerous rockets, namely the SKR series, like the SKR-1 and the SKR-7. Mainly because of their range, they're very potent. I don't know how long the range of these rockets will be though. Let's actually compare them, if I can. So 275 meters a second and 113 kilos. Compared to 120 meters, but 71 kilos. I assume they'll have a bit more limited range, but they're still probably going to be dangerous. It's not going to be like the Weapon Alpha with only a 600 meter range, I think. They're really shit tested, but I can't. Mines are always funny, although with a 20 kilo explosive mass is a bit small. But it's large enough for most PT craft, and it'll still punch a big hole in a destroyer. It's yeah, just it's nothing too game changing, nothing too special. Well, it's still relatively special, but you know what I mean. There's not. I haven't seen anything about the bigger ships. There's only a few ships on this dev server, so. There are, yeah, but I'll get to those changes in a bit. I'll just do the ships first. I haven't seen any bigger ships yet, though. One thing of interest is a trailer or a short video that a Japanese client has released, DMM Games, where they did showcase the Japanese battleship Fuso in the gameplay footage, but it doesn't say much because we don't have her in the dev server yet. Yet, I say. Yeah, they only have added 3 blue water ships. But again, this is just the first dev server. There might be more, there might not be. And it's these updates around this period, the updates around this period of time are usually smaller in size as well. And naval not being the most popular of game modes anyway, gets a few, not as much attention in these smaller updates. But yes, MPK PR201M. An alright boat. Yeah, it might be. Fuso might come later, but I really don't know. It hasn't been confirmed, there's no dev blogs about it, just saw in a video. Next up, and I think probably one of the most interesting additions to this update for Britain, is their battleship, HMS Marlborough. Yeah, that's what I suspected. They said in the dev blog it had a 305mm belt. Yeah, you can see how much that 305mm belt is worth. This is less protection than some other battleships. Like the Russian battleships, some of them have 270mm plates. What is the internal armor? It has technically a turtleback, you could call it, but it's not really thick. Some coal bunkers protecting the engines, I assume, yeah. Ammo is decently far below the waterline, so that's not going to be too much of a problem. You've got torpedoes at the rear. You've got quite a few armored decks, so that's good at least on Marlborough. 38mm isn't too bad either. Turret fronts. Protection-wise, Marlborough seems pretty standard, nothing too tough. Especially when you compare it to some of the battleships you already have. Like a 228mm belt, compare that to, let's say, what is it? The Maria, what does that thing have for a belt again? 262mm. And so yeah, you can... What's the speed on Marlborough though? That should be... Is it better? Is it worse? 35 kilometers an hour stock. What does it go up to? 1.1, 1.8, so 2.9, 21 what? 2.6, 4.5. So like it goes to 40 kilometers an hour. I mean, that's not a bad speed for a battleship. But the main attraction of the ship, really the main attraction of the ship is the guns of it, the 13.5-inch guns. It's, oh, 21 knots. I don't do knots, they're just weird. Because yeah, the 13.5-inch guns pack a punch. High explosive and 88 kilogram charge is quite hefty. 96mm pen, ooh. The armor piercing, a 22 kilogram charge. A lot of penetration. And the semi-armor piercing also having a 58 kilogram charge. Like, just to put this in comparison, let's look at the current SAP monsters, again, the Russians. And let's look at the Maria again. So its SAP is 55 kilograms. So it has more SAP filler than the Maria. Lesser guns only at 10, and what is the reload on those guns as well? But yeah, so more HE filler on the SAP than Maria. Way more HE filler on the HE itself. And more filler in the AP. And can we compare it to Hugo? Because those gun calibers are a bit more comparable. It doesn't have the same SAP filler as Hugo, obviously, because it's nuts. It does have more armor piercing filler. So I can see that armor piercing on the Marlborough being quite potent. What was I going to check on? Oh yeah, the reload speed. What does it say according to the 2 rounds a minute? It doesn't give me the actuals. So yeah, it's standard battleship reload I expect. Marlborough, yeah. Fire directors. Doesn't have a lot of fire directors now that I look at it. Yeah. Secondary armament, 6-inch guns per side. Next to no anti-air. This, in my opinion, this should be a fine addition to the British battleship lineup because they kind of needed it. But that armor, you need to watch out with this armor, like especially if you the 350, like there are ships that have pulled this before, like just a very thin sliver of 305 millimeters and then shit armor for the rest. So I expect Marlborough to be a ship that can deal a lot of damage, but will take a lot of damage in return as well. So the gun arcs look pretty decent on it, so you should be able to angle it pretty effectively. It's probably, I think it's going to be the British best strat. The ammunition on this ship looks very powerful. Yeah, it should be a good dreadnought to add to the British lineup, and you know, giving the nation, another nation, something bigger than 12-inch guns. And then we have one last thing that I really don't I don't like the look of. The Tigre. 1,750 golden eagles for this thing, really? Okay, let's see. I've already discussed this in a video of mine, but those 120mm guns are rather bad. Like, the main reason they're bad is the reload. What is the reload? 7 rounds a minute. So it's a bit faster than 10 seconds, but still not by much. Do I think if Marlborough outshines Hugo Marie? I don't think so, mainly because of the armor. Like 228mm of armor is thin, really thin for a battleship. Like if I'm to compare it to, like you say, Hugo Maria, Hugo has an armored belt varying from 299, okay, 199 for the upper belt, so it's kind of worse as well. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I find that most other nations should really get something 14-inch or at least bigger than 12-inch guns. But you also can't complain too much about the German battleship, seeing that they're the only 6.3s. Like, all of them are 6.3. What was I going to say again? Oh yeah, the armor. Like, I think Marlborough is going to be a very potent battleship for the British. But you really don't want to draw too much fire to you. Oh, that's the wrong button. Because 228mm for the most part, and then 203. Like, heavy cruisers can penetrate that kind of armor. The good thing though is that like, here's the waterline, and there's the ammo, so it's a fair bit below the waterline. These torpedoes are weird though. Like, what is 65 kilometers? Not the worst torpedoes actually, speed-wise and payload-wise, but they're fixed tube. They're really not. I don't know. Like, a ship like this, you shouldn't be getting close. You should be staying at range, because the shells for these guns are really powerful, so you should stay at range. What's the velocity? 759 meters a second? What does it compare to Hugo? Because I know Hugo. Slightly slower than Hugo then, but yeah. I think Marlborough is going to be roughly equal to Hugo and also have the same reputation of being relatively easy to kill. But now, I was at Tigre, wasn't I? The Italian destroyer. Tigre. So, I haven't... Oh yeah, the Bismarck. There have been 2 videos now where a Bismarck class was in the video. Like, the very first trailer for Naval, the Knights of the Sea trailer, had a Bismarck model in it. But that's the thing. just because it's in a trailer does not at all mean that we'll see that ship for some reason. Like, I don't know if any of you've noticed this, but in the new Power trailer, when we first saw the Dreadnoughts, USS Alaska was part of that trailer, or was part of a trailer around that time, and we still don't have USS Alaska. Yeah, there's like, and again, there's like a lot of very big battleships in that massive leak in July, like the Hood and Renown were there. You had Scharnhorst, Tirpitz, Bismarck, Gneisenau for Germany. You had Fuso, the modernized Ise, the outdated, or not outdated, the older Yamashiro. You had a lot of very big ships, like the Kronstadt and Stalingrad, like somebody asked earlier. But I assume that will be coming sometime in the future, but not this update yet. No, I know what, I think I know what trailer you mean for the Bismarck. It was for this Russian, what was it, this Russian forum or something, or this Russian expo? Where it had the, I know what trailer you're talking about. But yeah, I have no clue what happened to that. Same with the DMM video they released where Fuso was in it. I have no clue where that Fuso is because clearly we don't have Fuso on the dev server yet. We might get it in the update. Who knows? But I don't think so. Yeah, that's a concern, but I'm really not going to think about it now. That cast will be supersonic by the time we get Bismarck or Yamato. I really don't want to. I don't want to think about that possibility yet. But yeah, Tigre. I haven't had Leone myself yet. But I've heard a lot of bad things about it. Mainly, it's a 4.7. It has no anti-aircraft firepower. The guns... Sure, it has 8 guns, but they're really low fire rate. And at 4.7, you're going to see a lot of ships that will just outclass you. Like you have the... especially the American destroyers, like Fletcher, Sumner, easily beat the Leone class. Like, I've heard something about torpedoes, but they have the same torpedoes, don't they? SI-250s. And yeah, they have the same torpedo loadout, so no difference there. And the funny thing, they say it has an improved anti-air loadout, whilst in all reality I actually think it's a worse loadout than it is on Leone. It has two 40mm, it has two 76s. Do these 76s have time fuse? They have time fuse shells, so they're not the best. Better than nothing, of course, but they're not going to be the best against aircraft. While the regular Leone has two 40mm and two dual 13.2s, so machine guns. I think those machine guns are a bit more reliable than the 76s when shooting down aircraft, but that's just me. And like 1,750? Why? The prices can change, everything can change on the dev server, but why? When a 5.0 is 1,300 at like the same rank? Or even just... Why bother with Yaren Tigre? It's like... Yeah, but Yubari at least is a cruiser, it's a bit tougher. And, okay, I must admit Yubari is also kind of a shit boat, but... I don't know, I don't think Tigre is worth that money. Like, really isn't. Like, especially if you consider what it has in the lineup with it, like a Regolo and Etna. 2 actual cruisers. Like, it's just easier to just grind down the line, get yourself the 4.7 cruisers and just grind with the ships themselves. Because the Blue Water 3 itself for Italy isn't too bad, I think. Yeah, what is the SL boost on your Bari compared to Tigre, now that you say that? You have 800%, and that is without premium, because for some reason the premium account isn't active. What is it, 800%? Yeah, 800%. And Tigre it has the same SL booster. But genuinely, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, Tigre... Well, I would buy Tigre if you already know what Leone is like. I'd say go up the Italian tree, play Leone, and then see if you want to decide and buy Tigre. Because... I think that the Italian destroyers like Aviere, I've thoroughly enjoyed Aviere. And like some of these ships, like Corazziere and Dardo, are quite decent ships. But these lower velocity 120 mils with a really long reload is just not really my cup of tea. Let's compare, like Mikoma. What would you say Mikoma has? Mikoma also has an 800% booster. And Moffat, now that we're talking about it, 780. The thing is, this is dev server. Those numbers are are the sell values increased on the dev server? I'm not actually quite sure if it is. Yeah, Ardent Tigre. And that's literally it for this dev server. There's 5 ships. Oh, the mods are constant? Okay. Yeah, as a naval channel, there isn't really much to talk about on this update for naval. 5 new ships. I must say they're quite interesting ships, quite decent ships. There's nothing too boring out there or too bad. So what is there for other changes? The damage from fires. I need to test that somehow. Those floatplanes. I know what you're talking about. These floatplanes. Ever since that one accidental addition, and which update was it? 2 updates ago? It was they've been at the back of everybody's mind. When are these floatplanes going to come up? I haven't seen anything in the patch note about the floatplanes. I don't own Grafspee myself either, so I can't check if it is or it isn't on it again. But yeah, there's floatplanes. I really don't like. They're interesting, but I don't see the purpose of them. I don't see the purpose of them yet. Like, going for caps, maybe, but I don't like the idea of you purposely leaving the command of your own ship just to go cap some form of cap. That'll take like 10 minutes to get in cap to. Yeah. Planes. The Mitcher, what I think of it, I think it's a pretty interesting boat. Like it's a 4.3, it's a rank 2, so you're quickly going to get it. Okay, so the Mitcher, yeah, 4.3 boat. It has 2 rapid fire 5-inch guns, though they don't have the correct rate of fire on this dev server yet. The 76s, once you unlock the VT for them, should be pretty alright. The four dual 20 mils also certainly help for NTR, especially if you don't have the VT yet. These weapons alpha, these rocket launchers, I've already used them on the Japanese frigate Isuzu. They're useless. They're just big memes. They have a 600-meter range, and they're just there's very little chance you'll ever get into a 600-meter fight in a destroyer. The torpedoes, they're in fixed tubes, so you can't. I'm not a fan of fixed tubes because you have to position your ship in a very particular way to then get your torpedoes off. Speed is faster than I expected it to be. It's an alright speed, a bit on the slow end for a destroyer. It's also a large destroyer. Like, what is the weight of it? 4.8, 4,800 tons. Compared it to what else? Fletcher is like half that. No, not Fletcher. Farragut, which is half that weight. Fletcher, which is also 2,000 tons lighter almost. It's a big vessel. It has, also interestingly for an American ship, no STS armor on the hull. So I expect this to be a weird vessel to get used to. It's going to dish out a lot of damage, take a lot of damage. I'm actually not sure how much damage it'll dish out with only 2 guns. But it's a rank 2, 4.3, you can easily unlock it, you can easily spade it without too much trouble, so yeah, interesting ship. Yeah, what? to go back on the spotter planes, because it is really an interesting subject. The ones we saw on the Spear, which was accidentally added, did have bombs. Yes, but they were only like the 10 kilo bombs or the 50 kilo bombs, so really not usable against cruisers or battleships. Even destroyers wouldn't suffer much from those kind of bombs. What else could I really do? I mean, part of me has this almost fear in the back of my mind that they'll be used as an anti-submarine weapon. Or some kind of... If anybody's been watching World of Warships and all that stuff about their submarines and how badly that even goes... Yeah, I mean... Well, I'm still not so sure about the float... Yeah. Yeah, the floatplanes are just... I don't see any reasonable use for them. In the current way that naval works, I do not see any reasonable use for them. Because you're... Yeah, they're just... They can give you... Yeah, you could spot for yourself, get a bit of an idea for what the enemy team is like, where most of their cruisers are. But I don't like the idea of surrendering your entire ship to an AI. Like the main guns, the secondary guns. Like, if anybody's tried out the scout planes on the Spey basically just moves in a straight line or whatever order you last gave it. So it just moves in a straight line at full speed. The main guns fire still, because if you set it against surface targets, the main guns will fire. But AI against surface targets is horse crap, so they wouldn't hit anything. Yeah, submarines with homing turrets. Oh boy. Let's just hope that never happens here. What is like? Okay, so what is the other patch notes? The fires. I really need to figure out these fires, but I think I'll test it later with some friends, and just do a video on them. Water surface detonates HE. Wyoming has been changed. Apparently the armor thickness got changed on the rear of it. Where's Wyoming? There's Wyoming. I mean... Thickness of the stern traverse has been increased. What did it mean with that? To deploy a scout plane? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how long it takes to deploy a scout plane in real life. I'm really... That's like one thing. When it comes to... Oh, do you mean this thing? When it comes to like naval history and the historical aspect of the ship, I really don't know much. I really should look more into it, but I keep that kind of stuff for other channels. But yeah. HMS Invincible got a armor thickness plate changed as well. Or was it? Invincible. Okay, I mean, it's a minor change. It's a change, I guess. The Omaha class got changed. Apparently, their ammo elevators and some armor got changed, or else some internal modules. Let's just look at the... Where is it, Trenton? X-ray. That ammo is like literally at the waterline, isn't it? Certainly looks like it. Elevators got changed in position or something. I'll make a video on the dev server after this, so there I'll show the proper comparisons. Like now I can't really see the changes too much, but in the video I'll definitely be able to show it. HMS York got some armor changes. No, Great Britain, not Japan. York. Where's York? There's York. So what happened? Armoring of the shell rooms, tiller compartment and traverses have been fixed. So I assume it's all this. It's just changed and well fixed. I don't know if it's better or worse. I don't say. Suzuya. Let's go to Japan now. Suzuya. Something about the floatplane position got changed. Why does it have two different kind of floatplanes? Why does it have two kind of floatplanes? Apparently Mogami has his floatplanes changed as well. I mean, it adds a bit of, you know, more flair, I guess, but also nice that they removed them from the catapults and now just on the storage. Hinting that they're not going to add floatplanes soon, I guess. Though, who knows. What else? Gun shields on some German ships got separated so they don't have their own parts, but I mean... okay. Makes sense, I suppose. Emden K2, Z15 and Z20 have gotten armor shields on the 20 and 40mm guns. I'll just look at Emden, why not? So apparently they're they're not just different. They have their own parts, I guess. Nope, not that still. I want to look at the customization. I don't even do it. Okay, so this was mentioned getting a separate gun shield, but it doesn't have any. Okay, I guess. And Z20, but I don't have Z20, do I? No. K2 is also mentioned. Yeah, I guess it's just the armor being modeled now on those guns. Anything else interesting? On Norfolk, the size of the shell room has been changed apparently. Should have been corrected, it says. Armoring of elevators for the main caliber guns have been added in the area of top armor plates for the shell rooms. Does that mean... No, these things, okay. Well, thank you very much. I tried my best to keep up with this, but I'll have a busy weekend this weekend with videos for the dev server itself coming up. Videos for HMS... I still need to do a review of my HMS Mohawk. I only got that last Monday. Have they been there since the last update? These little boxes, I don't recall seeing them, though I haven't really, as you can see, I haven't unlocked Norfolk, nor really played the British too much. What else do we have? Triple star dreadnought. For some reason there's 3 stars in his notes, but oh well. Dreadnoughts. Why are they mentioning dreadnought again? Deck armor has been increased in the areas of the first and fourth gun turret. What? Roof and deck armoring in the conning tower have been increased. Okay. Deck armoring has been increased in the areas of the first and fourth gun turrets. Did they mean this? Because I'm sure not seeing, or is it internally somewhere? Is it these plates? Yeah, it might be these plates that they're talking about, and I guess. Yeah, yeah, it's that. The coastal yes, there was a new premium to the coastal US factory. Where is it? Here, PT 174. Yeah, Mag, I saw it. I saw it. I undid my dumb button in my brain and I saw it. PT-17, it's the only new coastal vessel for the US at the moment. Because again, dev servers don't necessarily have all the content in them. But it's smaller, it's a relatively small update, so I don't expect too many new ships to be there. Premium, it's 1,000 golden eagles. I mean, it's standard for rank 2. I do not expect it to keep its 1.7 BR, as I said before, because a 40mm at the front is surprisingly powerful. Like, most vessels with a 40mm at the front are 2.3, with the one exception being this ship, for some reason. Like the, what is it? The British with their, what is it again? Dark Aggressor with 40mm at the front, 2.3. The Italians with their, or is it this thing? Also 2.3, single 40. Oh, this is where's the one with the single 40mm? Come on. No, it is the one with single 40mm. Sorry. No, sadly Fuso isn't here. Not sadly enough, nothing for Japan even. 3.3 is a bit overkill, but good joke. But yeah, Fuso. I wished it was there, but it isn't here yet. It may be in the update still, because again, dev servers, they don't necessarily show everything. But yeah, for naval content wise, this update isn't too rich yet. Just 5 ships, a few minor looking damage model changes, a few other armor changes, gun shield changes, some visual changes. Yeah, nothing else really. There was one thing I've heard about on the dev stream, and what was this new? Was it this new shell indicator or something, whatever it was, or is it only for? Did they always have those icons next to them? I guess they had. I think those are just for ground forces anyway. Yeah, as I thought. Anything else interesting? Backups and wagers? Did I just completely miss that? What do you mean? Oh. Why can I not activate any? Oh, because I don't have purchased herder. I'm dumb. Let's take just any random ship. But what do you mean with it took away backups and wagers? Oh. So basically you activate a backup and then you only have like 3 hours or something to use that backup or something like that. That is a bit bit annoying. But at the same time, that's basically how I use backups mostly. Ah, that's what. Oh, that's the. That's what you mean. They have a timer like boosters. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean I know just check the changelog, but I have to do this on my phone because when I alt tab, it's weird. I'll have to read these changelogs in detail, that's for sure. Is there anything else I really need to add at the moment? I've gone over all the ships. So premium PT boat for the Americans, PT 174. Looks interesting. 1,000 golden eagles, which is probably as cheap as a rank 2 premium will get. Frontal mounted 40 mil, which is nice. 2 dual 50 cals, one single 20 mil. Should be a decent PT, though I'm personally not really that much of a fan of the American PTs because they're rather vulnerable. Then you have the Mitcher, interesting destroyer. The fire rate on it is still Borg to all hell, so we actually have to wait and see how that will turn out. Yes, if you... Sorry to interrupt. I'll continue my rambling later, but yes, if you were destroyed in your vehicle and then spawn again in the backup, your repair cost is basically put back to 0. Any damage you'll take on that backup, you'll have to repair, of course, and pay the repair cost for. That's why it's really popular to have backups on battleships, just so that you can respawn on them to reset the repair cost. So what was I saying? Mitcher, interesting destroyer. But I'll have to see how it plays out in actual battles. I think I'll do... When I stop the stream, I'll grind for the Mitcher, test it in the dev server, see what it's like, and then talk about it in the video. What else do we have? We have the interesting Russian patrol craft, which I haven't given too much attention. A subchaser Russian. 2 dual 25s, they're very good guns. There's... Yeah, if I'm going to make my channel about everything that floats, that's not going to end well. No. Shell Pentas and what? What do you mean? Funny joke, Thomas. But anyway, PR201M. I mean, it's nothing too special. Actually, I need to check what kind of damage model it has, but it's a subchaser, so I'm expecting it to have the standard damage model. Hold on, let me get something a bit chunkier so I can see it. Yeah, sure, 100 mil. Yeah, standard coast water damage model. The rockets seem interesting, but I don't know if it's that long range. I will do a video about the dev server, as I usually do. It's just that I do streams like this just to answer questions more easily. It's very, you know, and to give people a view on the dev server a bit earlier. It is literally a worse 183. It's also a 3.7, which is a bit rough. But I'm really curious about how these rockets will perform. They're rank 4, so it's going to be... Oof. Yeah, it's... I'm not sure if I would call it a bad ship, but it's going to be a bit... It's definitely going to be mediocre, if I can call it that. I've looked at the patch notes on the forum, but I have to read through the other, like, the air and ground patch notes I haven't really looked at. I've only looked at the naval stuff. So, PR201M. Just another modern Russian subchaser. What else did we have? We have the Battleship. Probably the most interesting addition. Together with the Mitcher, the most interesting addition of this update. The British Marlborough. It's like, I want to like this ship already, but I really need to look what it is like. Yeah, the new fire mechanics for naval I'm going to test after the stream. I'll put that in the video as well, so be sure to watch out for that if you want to know more about it. Like, the dev server is also open the entire weekend, so I'll have time enough to actually look at it. Oh yes, the Should You Spade series. I am definitely going to do that for other nations. It's just that I am a Japanese main. I just had Japan already all spaded. My next nation for it, I'll give you a little hint. you can, I think you can already guess what the next nation is going to be for the Shoot Your Spade series. Though I do plan to not only do one nation at a time. I'll try and cover multiple nations. Like especially destroyers are really easy to get into. They're also the thing most people start off with. So I'm going to plan to do a video on all the nation's destroyers, and then see what I do from there. But Italy is the next nation I'll do a full Shoot Your Spade series on. Yeah. Not just reserve destroyers, just destroyers in general, by nation again. Like, for the Americans, I have all the destroyers except for the Mitcher, of course. Germans, I have all of them, just need to spade a few. The Russians, I need one more. The British, I have all of them spaded. The Italians, I need to spade a few. Like, it's really easy to do a destroyer videos on the series, so I'll do that together with the Italian Shoot Your Spade series. Crash PSOP version. I mean, because I've been grinding out my Italian coastal vessels, I haven't really had the time to really test out the cruisers. I don't know what Grushby is like anymore. But I mean, I really need to play cruisers again, but that's for later. I'm not that up to date with the cruiser meta. Mitcher, what is it? Because somebody asks again later the stream happens. Mitcher, a modern US destroyer, though a very large destroyer, no extra armor. 2 very rapid fire 5-inch guns. 2 76mm guns, like similar to what you find on the cruiser Pittsburgh, though they do not come stock with a VT, sadly. So 2 rapid fire 5-inch guns, 2 twin 76s, 2 of these anti-submarine rocket launchers. They only have a 600 meter range. They're practically useless, but they're good memes if you can get up close to an enemy. It does have torpedoes, but the torpedo tubes are fixed into the hull, and the torpedoes themselves aren't really that good, so you can pretty much ignore it. It's a 4.3 destroyer. It's really cheap to spade, so it should be a nice addition to the American destroyer tree. And definitely something different as well. But I was going to try and summarize everything and finish up the stream, but actually no, I'm not going to finish up the stream. I'm going to grind the ship on the stream, because why not? And then yeah, the last ship I still had to cover was Tigre. I wouldn't... In short, about Tigre, do not buy Tigre unless you're already familiar with Leone. Like, if you like Leone, you can buy Tigre. If you do not like Leone, if you do not like Leone, do not buy Tigre. Simple as that. But now, I've gone over most of the new stuff. Let's try and actually... I have not tried the new fire damage stuff yet. That's why I'm going to grind for the Mitcher on stream to see if I can see anything about it. So Mitcher, rank 3 should be fine. Let's just do 5.0 to grind it with. Do I have anything interesting ship-wise? I have another rally. Process operation. It's just taking a while for some reason. A very long while for some reason. I have to restart the war center. Just keeps going on. Yeah, I think that. Okay, no answer from the server apparently. Yeah, I'll just see what I can do and see if I can actually get into a match. If it's going to be stuck on processing operation, I'll just restart real quick. Yeah, I'll just restart real quick. Shouldn't take too long. In the meantime, yeah, I'll just restart it. Where is it again? There it is. Let's see if it'll work this time. And if the devserver is down for some reason, then well, I guess that means I'll have to end the stream here. Let's see. I got a bad feeling about this. Well, what do you mean, did it roll back? Did the devserver itself roll back version? No, it still says 2.10. Is it? Yeah, I think I'll have to end the stream here. Because something is happening. Either it's on my end or it's on the server's end. But, anybody's come? Anybody? Oh, never mind, I spoke too soon. Is it? God. It seems that the server does not want me to stop streaming yet. But I still need to connect to it. Come on. I just want to wait and see if I can actually get into a game on a dev server. If I can't, well, I think I'll have to end it there. And just do this grinding off stream and then show it all in the video. But let's hope we can actually get some games in. I'll give it another minute or two. Yep, that is kind of unfortunate, isn't it? Just sitting here. Yeah, there it is. I'll give it another shot. Just hope for it. But I think it's going to be that's going to be it for now. Yep. I hope to be seeing you around for more videos. No problem. But I think, yeah, it'll have to be it for now. The server hamsters have officially given up the ghost. So, yeah, I'll end the stream here. Thank you everybody for coming and watching. And I hope to see you in the videos I'll make on the dev server. So, that was it. Goodbye. And may I see you the next time, maybe.